The nation of Israel had wandered away from the Lord, and so they were going to go into captivity. And there are multiple prophets, books of prophets in the Bible that talked about how they were warning the Israelites to return to God and what was going to happen to them. And everything that the prophets said happened to Israel, and they were just very marred as a people group. They were taken away, many captive, and their lives were preserved. But the ones who did not go, they were, just brutally murdered, etc. All of this to say that in the book of Isaiah, the prophet, in Isaiah 52:13, this was all happening, but the Lord was telling his people through the prophet Isaiah that a Redeemer was coming. And so starting in Isaiah 52:13, we read, "Behold, my servant," meaning Jesus Christ, "shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted and extolled and be very high, just as many were astonished at you," because all of the other nations were so astonished at Israel and what was happening to them, because they were supposed to be God's people, but they were being severely disciplined by God at that time. He said, "Just as many were astonished at you, so his visage, the way he looked, was marred more than any man could be. And his form was more than the sons of man. So shall he sprinkle many nations. Kings shall shut their mouths at him, for what had not been told them they shall see, and what they had not heard they shall consider. Who has believed our report? And to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed?" Well, Christ was like the arm of the Lord. "For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of dry ground. He has no form or comeliness, and when we see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him." So it wasn't like he was this majorly attractive physically for everyone in Israel to follow him. He was just of a humble in appearance. "He is despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief, and we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we did not esteem him. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. He carried them away on the cross. Yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted," because all of the people at that time said, "Oh, he did evil, and that's why he's getting his punishment." So they esteemed him to be disciplined by God when he went to the cross, but it wasn't true. It says in Isaiah 53:5, "But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement for our peace was upon him, and by his stripes we were healed. We are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray." So there's not a single person alive on this earth that can say, "Well, I'm good enough to get into heaven because I haven't ever killed somebody. I'm not a liar. I don't tell lies." But it says right here that every single person, no matter what your status or situation, we've all gone astray. We've turned everyone to his own way, and the Lord laid on him, Jesus, the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he didn't open his mouth. He was led as a lamb to slaughter, and as a sheep before his shearers is silent, he opened not his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment. Who will declare his generation? For he was cut off from the land of the living. For the transgressions of my people he was stricken. And they made his grave with the wicked, but with the rich at his death. That's because there was a rich man when Christ was crucified on the cross who said, here, you can have this sepulcher, or, this cave, whatever. And it was very expensive, but he gave that to the Lord to be buried in. So that's why in Isaiah it says, and they made his grave with the wicked, but because he was crucified with the criminals, but with the rich at his death, because he had done no violence, nor was there any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him, and he has put him to grief. When you make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. He shall see the labor of his soul and be satisfied. So Jesus was satisfied with the work that he did on the cross, because every single one of us is so important to him. We are his booty, so to say. We're like his prize that he went to the cross for, so that we could always be with him, and so that we could be family with him. So by his knowledge my righteous servant shall justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. Therefore I will divide him a portion with the great. He shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out his soul unto death. And he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bore the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. So this was predicted in the time of the prophet Isaiah, which was BC, and I don't know what the specific year was offhand, but he was the death and burial and resurrection of Christ, and Christ to be taking on our burdens and all of our iniquities and carrying them away was predicted all the way back in the prophet Isaiah's time. So the gospel is such good news, because you can always trace back to all the predictions. That's just one prophecy that's in the Bible that predicted the coming of Christ and his work on the cross. So his work and his life on this earth was predicted all throughout the scriptures, and this is just one in the book of Isaiah. So I hope that blesses somebody, and I encourage you just to look into, through all the books of the scripture, to be looking for Christ and the foretelling of his coming on earth, and keep looking up.